Thank you for staying with SABC News. Despite economists predicting a decrease in the rate of unemployment in the fourth quarter, South Africa recorded an increase of 0.2% to 32.1%. According to Statistics South Africa, the number of unemployed persons increased by 46,000 to 7.9 million in the fourth quarter. For more on this, I'm joined by Matthew Parks. He's the Cosatu Parliamentary Coordinator. Good afternoon, Matthew. Obviously, nearly 8 million people unemployed, a pandemic on its own, and a huge blow to the workers as well. What is your view with regards to these latest data?
Thanks for having us. Look, it's depressing. I don't think there's any other way to say it. Normally, with the last quarter of a year, you get a bit of a bump up in terms of employment numbers. Normally, that's a retail peak season, shopping centers, shops, hire additional staff. People are shopping for Christmas, for the beginning of the school year, etc. Normally, there's a bit of a pickup because of tourism and holidays and so forth. So the fact that unemployment is increased by 0.2%, that's depressing. But to be honest with you, we actually feel to be much worse, given the levels of the chaos, the crisis we're experiencing in Transnet. And we feel it's going to get worse in the next quarter because the mining industry is giving out retrenchment notices, because mining industry just simply can't export its mineral exports if you can't get them onto the trains, if you can't get them through the ports at Transnet. So that's quite worrying. We are actually fearful about what might happen to the manufacturing sector too, if you don't begin to turn things around at Transit. Equally, we have seen progress around electricity load shedding, but for the past 2 weeks, we've experienced some significant bumps in the road, and the energy availability factors or reports from Eskom are quite concerning. If we don't fix Transit and Eskom quite quickly, then we should expect the next quarter's results to be extremely painful.
Yeah. Let's talk about how much this will go into the minister's budget speech tomorrow, because obviously a lot of progress has been made, or every year during the budget, the minister or the government puts money towards skills initiative, towards denting unemployment, but it doesn't seem like it's going very far when you also look at things like the skills mismatch and the amount of money that is being spent versus, the output that we are seeing. What is your prediction with regards to particularly that tomorrow with the budget speech?
So we really hope and pray that government will table a very bold and aggressive budget at Parliament tomorrow. We just can't continue to limp along, to treat the budget as some sort of accounting exercise where the sole issue we must address is the debt problem. We really hope government takes this unemployment crisis with the seriousness it deserves, because we are just treading water all the time, and in fact at times we're moving backwards. So we hope that when the minister comes to Parliament tomorrow, he would table a very decisive budget which says the government is responding to a crisis of unemployment rate of 41%, of load shedding, of cable theft, of the crisis at Transit and Metro Rail, many other SOEs, of dysfunctional municipalities, of really a stagnant economic growth and endemic corruption and crime. So I hope government will respond to that. Look, there are some simple things, but bold and really high impact issues they could do. So they can increase the presidential employment program, which has done well, but they've been cutting it, increase it to accommodate at least 1 million unemployed young people by April, 2 million by November. Similar to the SOD grant, which has given a lifeline to 8 million unemployed persons, increase it to accommodate the value lost to inflation by April, raise it to the food poverty line by November, because that's going to be money in workers' pockets, or unemployed persons' pockets rather. That money is spent in the economy, it helps stimulate the economy. Government needs to really announce a significant expansion of the infrastructure program, because Treasury, for some weird reason, froze it last September.
Yeah.
Transit and Eskom are the lifeline of the economy, so we need to see more additional measures to assist them, because if you can fix those two things, then mining, manufacturing, agricultural sectors, other industries, all workplaces can really be unlocked. But we just simply can't afford a number crunching, a business as usual approach tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fact that this year is an election year, and unemployment obviously does not show signs of abating. In fact, even if it's a marginal increase of 0.2%, it's still an increase nonetheless. To what extent is this going to work against this current administration, in that South Africans will say, we remain unemployed, we remain unemployable, what have you done?
Yeah. So look, I mean, if we take a step back, a year ago, the unemployment rate was 46%. It's insane levels. The past year has decreased to 41%. Leave aside, even with this current 0.2% increases. So there's been a 5% reduction. So that's positive, but we need to now maintain that momentum. So that's why this quarter's reports are quite depressing, because we've failed to exploit the festive season bump in employment figures normally. So for us, look, there'll always be elections, and elections are a very useful way of holding politicians accountable, putting a bit of fire under their feet, etc. So that's why we really do hope government will take this unemployment crisis with the seriousness it really warrants. So just expand the presidential employment programs, fix the SABC grant, fix dysfunctional municipalities, fix ESCOM and transit. Just do those basics. We will see the economy pick up. The economy has been remarkably resilient with all the issues we've thrown at it.
Yeah.
But we need to give us some support. But what we can't do is to normalize 4 out of 10 South Africans or 6 out of 10 young people being unemployed. That's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the issue of young people who remain unemployable, and that it is a ticking time bomb. But how bad really is it? Perhaps from a Cosatu point of view, what's your view on youth unemployment in particular?
It's scary. You can't sustain a society where 6 out of 10 young people can't find a job. So in fact, you look at a little bit deeper into the latest employment figures, the economy hasn't really shed jobs, so that's good. But what it has not been able to do is to create new jobs to absorb the young people entering the labor market. So kids have matriculated, they've left school, they've graduated from university or from college, etc. But they're now entering a market which is not creating the jobs that they need to live, to enjoy life. I think we've all seen the demoralizing reports about doctors who can't find work.
Yes.
So there is a mismatch, and government really has to respond positively to it. It's a misnomer to say we must simply cut back expenditure and somehow think things will improve. So the South African Revenue Service has done very well in the past couple of years because they've employed additional staff, which has enabled them to go after tax evasion, bring additional revenue to the state. That's great. We need to adopt a similar approach. If we can employ these young doctors, employ nurses and so forth, paramedics and so on, health workers, will improve the quality of public health care. If we can employ additional police officers and not allow their headcount to decrease, then the police can be more effective in dealing with crime and corruption. But we can't think we're somehow going to cut things and somehow wonder why we don't do better. It doesn't make sense. You expect to put less petrol in a car and you wonder why you don't make it to your destination. That just defies common logic.
Yeah. Matthew, thank you so much for your views. Matthew Parks is the Cosatu Parliamentary Coordinator. He's been chatting to us about the latest unemployment figures that were released by Stats SA, which shows that unemployment in the fourth quarter of 2023 has gone up to 32 by 0.2 percentage points.